What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 118 of Psychotic and Iconic. Paul's here along with my co-hosts Nick Theories, Mikey P, and Philly Phil. Thank you to everybody that's tuned in to the live stream tonight. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and share it. Thank you to everybody that likes, follows, and subscribes to all of our platforms. Mikey P, take us away, sir.
All right. Big day today. NFL trade deadline. It was insane, man. Insane. Craziest of all time. Easily. All right. But first, let's do our thing here. Episode 118 of Psychotic and Iconic, powered by Playmaker, is brought to you by Prize Picks. Daily fantasy made easy. Also, right now, we are live at the Props Network at propshq.com. Be sure to go over there and subscribe to our show and keep up with all of the latest and greatest in the NFL. Last but not least, fantastic fabric, P&I merch, courtesy of IPP Pressworks, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Be sure to let us know via DM if you want P&I merch, and we will get you hooked up. All right? Everybody good? Paul's is wearing it.
Everything's great. I got my hoodie on. Chilling.
Put that shit on.
So we got the Phillies, too, right after this. So this is a special episode, 7 p.m. for you guys to make sure you could go and watch the Phillies. We're going to do the same thing on Thursday for our pick show, Week 9 picks, 7 p.m. Again, that's Thursday, 7 p.m. Now, are you guys ready?
Born.
You all ready?
All right. NFL trade deadline. Let's get right into it, okay? What was the best deal of the day? Because there were a lot of trades. Like, this is unprecedented activity by the NFL at the trade deadline. You usually see like one, maybe two deals. You saw a lot of deals today. All right. What was the best one and why?
For me, it was Miami taking Tua. Miami getting Bradley Chubb. Because to be honest, for me, that just signifies that with giving up all their draft capital for Hill and all that, it just tells me that they're all in on Tua and they believe in him. And, they should. They're 4-0 in the games that he started and finished. They're good, man. And they're not being talked about amongst the NFL's elite. So I think that they need to get into that conversation, and they needed a pass rusher badly because they weren't able to get to the quarterback unless they were blitzing. And Bradley Chubb sure as shit changes that.
You took my answer, but you know what? I'm going to go a different route. I'm going to have a little spin on it, a theory spin. I am going to say Chase Claypool to the Bears, and I'll say this. I like this trade for the Steelers. They get a second-round pick for Chase Claypool, who hasn't really done shit in a long time. He's not really needed there. He doesn't fit their system. They're looking for shifty receivers who can go deep, who can go across the middle, who are fast, who can get open. He's a big body that can go deep. That's what he is. He can go across the middle a couple times, but in all, he doesn't fit that mold of Steelers wide receivers, such as an Antonio Brown, a Hines Ward, an Antoine Randall L., those type of players, even a Pickens. He doesn't fit that wide receiver mold. So I like this for the Steelers. I think they won. They got a second-round pick for somebody who really wasn't putting up second-round pick production this season. So for them to sell high, it was a fantastic move. So my hat's off to the Steelers.
How about the Steelers today being ultra active? Like they made two moves today. They acquired William Jackson from the Commanders.
Yeah,
that was definitely surprising that they were very active. But I also agree with Pauls. I'm going to say one thing about the Bradley Chubb deal because obviously, yeah, it gives them the pass rusher that they need, but also what is forgotten about Miami is they have two solid corners and they've been getting exposed a little bit this year because they're being asked to cover a little bit longer. So adding to the pass rush also should improve the Dolphins on the back end where they have a lot of money invested with the cornerbacks. So very strong move, pretty much solidifies a wild card in my opinion. But I will also go a different route. I'm going to say, just to be different here, I think that the Dolphins were number one move. I'm going to go with the Eagles with the second move because, again, just adding to the pass rush there, and it's an embarrassment of riches for the Eagles. We kind of talked about this one on Tuesday already, so I won't go in depth. But, Guys, what was the worst deal of the day?
The worst deal today easily was the Chicago Bears.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of explained why in his answer before, but they gave up a second-round pick for mid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Chase Claypool. He's not like, here's the thing, and I put this on TikTok earlier because I'm genuinely confused. Like, I get it. You need to know if Justin Fields is the guy. And because, you know, a quarterback, you need a quarterback. It's a quarterback's league. But Chase Claypool isn't a big enough difference maker for you to make that judgment on Fields. So I don't understand it. It's way too high of a pick. If it was a fifth or a fourth, I mean, I think a fourth is too high, to be honest, too, because he's never had more than 875 yards. And that was his rookie season. And he's never had more than, I think, 62 receptions in a season. So I think Chase Claypool was way overrated when they said the Packers were going to get him too. To me, he's not a difference maker. He's a 3-2 at best. And I don't even think a 2 is, I mean, maybe Aaron Rodgers can make him a 2, but Justin Fields isn't going to make him a 2. He's a 3.
Yeah, and you know what? You know, this guy has just been inconsistent his entire career. And he has the physical skill set to be a 1, but the work ethic and consistency of literally like a 4.
Mike.
And he's sorry. And they basically got their compensation back that they spent drafting him a few years into the contract. So, I mean, yeah, I agree with you there. I think that's the worst. I got another one though. If you don't mind, Theories, I'll skip ahead real quick. I think you might agree with me here, actually. I think the worst deal of the day was actually TJ Hawkinson to the Vikings.
Damn, you took my shit.
And you know what, Nick? You can explain it first. Nick, you explain it first, and I'll.
You go. You announced it. I'll piggyback. Pause.
And look, I'm not trying to pick on the Vikings, but we have all seen what the Vikings do. They do not use the tight end position at all. TJ Hawkinson's good. But they paid a lot for this guy. They gave up a 2 and a 3 for a guy that they're probably going to use in a sprinkle. And I'll leave it at that so that Nick can say more. I think Nick's got more here.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I mean, look, did Irv Smith pan out? He had high hopes. He didn't do jack shit all year. Any tight end that's been there since Kyle Rudolph hasn't really produced. I don't know. It's just not their scheme. They're not. They don't scheme the guys open. TJ Hawkinson is more of a pass catching tight end, and not for nothing, he's mid. He's mid. If he was electric, the Lions wouldn't get rid of him because they need to rebuild, and he's a young player. So why wouldn't they keep a player like that on their team if he was an actual all-star tight end or a Pro Bowl, that is? And the Lions know he's just not it. So for them to get a second and a third back for TJ Hawkinson is a home run for me, and it's a bad deal for the Vikings. However, I understand why the Vikings did it because they're in the win now mode. They see the opportunity in their division, especially with Green Bay falling to 3-4 or 3-5.
3-5.
3-5. Yeah, excuse me. So they see an opportunity with a 3-game lead there, and they swung for the fences. I don't think they're going to get what they paid for in Hawkinson, but I see why they did it. I just don't like the deal. I feel like you could have got somebody else on the market or called around for other players.
Nick, let me ask you a question about TJ Hawkinson. Does he play linebacker or cornerback by any chance? Does he play safety?
I believe he plays tight end.
Because that's where the Vikings needed to go.
Yeah, I agree.
They have, like you said, the win now mode. And Pauls is over there basking in his glory, as he should. They are a one-loss team right now. And they had an opportunity to fix a glaring weakness that is going to catch up to them at some point. It hasn't yet. I still don't think they've even been challenged. I think this was an impressive win, though, this week. I'll give that to them. I think that was an impressive win, facing a team that was kind of surging, building some momentum, and they just shut them down. The Vikings were winning that game pretty much the entire time. So this is probably their most impressive win besides the Packers game, but that's turning out to be something too. Are the Packers even impressive? I don't know. And I was Mr. Packer. So Pauls, do you want to answer to this?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm confused from Detroit's angle because I don't I get it. It's a second and third round pick, but what are you trying to do? You're trying to build for the future, but aren't you trying to win games too? I mean, it wasn't Dan Campbell just saying that this year was the year that the team can and will what? Keep trading and backing yourself up. I mean, TJ Hawkinson's a nice player. Let's not get that twisted. And Kyle Rudolph and them guys, they were under a defensive-minded head coach. If TJ Hawkinson's going to thrive, it will be now and moving forward under Kevin O'Connell. I mean, didn't Tyler Higbee have a good year last year? And the year before that, it was under Kevin O'Connell. He's an offensive guy.
They didn't really use him enough. And Detroit,
I'm sorry.
So the Rams didn't really use Higbee enough, though. And same thing here. I just wonder if the Vikings will use him enough. And then also the Lions didn't even use him enough. That's the weirdest part is the Lions invested that first-round pick, and he clearly is talented. The Lions didn't even use him enough.
The one thing I would say about the Rams with Higbee is I'll give him a little bit of a pass because unless your name is Cooper Kupp, Matt Stafford isn't throwing you the ball, and he's not looking. Or Odell Beckham. I mean, Odell Beckham came in and went crazy, but that's because he's talented enough to beat one-on-one coverage. But I like the move for the Vikings because they're going for it. I don't think it's that crazy of a price, to be honest. But that's just where I am on it. I think he'll fit in nicely. I think we'll be able to get Kirk a lot of underneath stuff because now you have to worry about he's a sure-handed tight end.
This is so smart for the Lions. This is how high they think of TJ Hawkinson. They traded him within the division. That's how high.
Well, you just said they gave up a lot of draft capital, so you would trade anybody for that.
Sure, but the Vikings. I mean, but if I'm giving it to my rival, if they had a Justin Jefferson type of player, or let's just say Travis Kelce, are the Chiefs trading Travis Kelce within the division?
If they offer him 3 first-round picks, yes.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
I don't think they
if the Chargers come to the Chiefs right now and offer them 3 first-round picks for the next 3 years, they move Travis Kelce.
At his age, I'm talking about in his prime, in his 4th year. Do you think the Chiefs would trade Travis Kelce
for 3 first-round picks? I believe that they would think about it. And absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, they would. That's a different magnitude, right? A second and a third, would they take it?
Well, no,
without knowing his future.
No.
Okay, so why?
I mean, because you can see if the guy's the guy.
Correct.
Yeah, but Nick.
And I think the Lions have 4 years of seeing this guy is expendable. We can get a 2nd-round pick. We can get a 3rd-round pick. We could stockpile picks, go get our quarterback next year, and let's build this thing.
No, because you know what they should have did? They should have kept TJ Hawkinson, or they should have took those 2nd and 3rd-round picks and immediately traded them and fixed their defense because their problem isn't scoring points. Their problem is stopping people.
Right. But they're at a point now. They're what? I think they're 1-6.
1-6.
Yeah. I mean, look, they're sellers.
The turnovers, but the turnovers coming. I mean, I don't even think Dan Campbell's going to make the year, but that's.
No, I think he's going to make the year. I think he should get the shot. But what I'm saying is he's expendable. The Lions know that. They need to rebuild that franchise. They're 1-6. What good does having a tight end in 2 years is going to command possibly 15, 20 million a year? Is he worth that kind of money? No,
but he's
if you're
good.
Trying to build something, you're not going to pay a tight end who's mid at $20 million a year. But that's the price tag of the free agency that's trending, and this is going to happen in 2024.
But the thing is,
they didn't want to be spending money on a tight end either.
Right.
They don't want to.
And
they
can't spend money. You'd be pigeonholed to pay him because you could have even traded and got something for him when the Lions know they're going to trade him now at his highest value. His stock could drop. He could be buns in Minnesota.
Doubtful.
And his stock would skyrocket. And now Minnesota, they gave up a 2nd and a 3rd. They're pigeonholed to even signing him.
I mean,
sure they are. A 2nd and a 3rd, that's a steep price for a tight end. You have to sign him now. He's going to be a Viking. He has to.
They must have plans for him.
I mean, look, here's the thing. We're sitting here. Let's not say that act like TJ Hawkinson sucks.
I'm not saying he sucks.
He's a very good tight end.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is for the Lions to trade him within division, knowing the contract situation in 2 years, this was a smart deal for them and a bad deal for the Vikings.
I disagree. I don't think that TJ Hawkinson is a difference maker on a bad team. I think he's a difference maker on a good team. That's why the Vikings jumped on it.
We'll see. I mean, we're going to see. I mean, I don't know. I don't know because the Lions don't look like they were struggling with points. If he was like a difference maker, the Lions would be better than 1-6 because they have Amon-Ra. They have other.
Well, no, they're scoring 45 points a game. They're just letting up 70.
I mean, their offense has dipped in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, Jared Goff turned into Jared Goff.
Yeah, he's back. So, but yeah, I mean, that's that's really it, man. Like I don't like this deal for the Vikings. And I feel like the Lions got the better end of it. Truthfully, for all the reasons
guys,
that.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm done.
Yeah, I was going to say now, guys, we want to talk about surprising developments of the day. I see Godfarb mentions the Eagles didn't get a running back despite all the hype. Godfarb also asked, did Green Bay get anyone? So here, the most surprising developments of the day, guys, that's the question. Not necessarily has to be a trade. It could be most surprising development of the day. And to answer Godfarb, that's right where I was going. Green Bay and Tampa Bay standing pat, not doing a thing today, is the most surprising development. Green Bay especially. Like Green Bay not getting a wide receiver on this market with Brandon Cooks still available and upset. For example, getting outbid for Claypool, yes, that's a high price to pay. I understand why they backed out, but like
I agree with Green Bay on that. But
Green Bay, though, not getting anybody is absolutely unacceptable. It might have actually just sunk their whole season. That's how bad it is.
It was already sunken at 3-5.
Not in the NFC.
That's true. That's a good point.
the Green Bay Titanics.
Yeah,
They're only a game out of a wild card. They absolutely just threw away their whole season by not acting. Absolutely. They also turned their quarterback against them. I guarantee you that. Their quarterback is sitting there like, what the fuck? Okay. I just re-signed here to win championships. What is going on? And also on the Tampa Bay side, seeing that Hawkinson's available, I thought Tampa Bay would have been interested in a guy like Hawkinson. And then Mike Gesicki's right there too. Mike Gesicki didn't move. That's surprising. Tampa Bay, I don't get either of these teams when they know they have a win now window. But guys, tell me the most surprising developments of the day. And you can echo off of what I'm saying too. Feel free.
For me, well, the number one thing for me was actually Denver trading Bradley Chubb, because you have an excellent defense, and to me it indicates that they are worried about Russell Wilson and that offense, and they're trying to recoup picks. Because I don't understand that move. Your defense right now is the strongest unit on your on the field.
Yeah,
I mean, you're money, Mike.
What's up?
It feels like money because they were not going to. They were not going to move him unless they got absolutely wowed. And they got the compensation back that they drafted him with. And they possibly answer an issue at running back by getting somebody dynamic like a Chase Edmonds. That's obviously a small part of the deal, but they would have had to pay Bradley Chubb legitimate money this offseason, and they already chose to spend that on Randy Gregory. That was a mistake probably. If you knew that you had to pay a pass rusher, why wouldn't you pay that to Chubb? I'd rather have Chubb than Randy Gregory. They kind of put themselves against the wall here. You're not totally wrong, though. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no. Those are really good points. And I didn't think of the money angle. But I mean, still, it's just your defense is the reason that you're in these games to begin with. I wouldn't weaken that unit. And like the Chase Edmonds, I mean, that was a nice throw in, but if Mike McDaniel can't create enough for you to get open and survive, Nathaniel Hackett's not doing it. So I used to love Chase Edmonds, but I'm out on him.
Yeah, he sucks. I mean, I threw that in there.
They did.
They did. They threw him in the deal.
Like, yo, take him too. We're good.
Yeah, he absolutely was just a throw in.
Yeah.
I'm just saying from their perspective, that's just a small thing there, but they get the pick back, which is huge, and obviously some cap flexibility next year. They obviously mailed it in, and it's weird coming off of a win where they had moments they actually looked like they could move the football.
Agreed.
It is definitely weird. It's weird. Should have left him in London.
That's still the best thing ever.
That's fucking hilarious.
Theories, what's the most surprising thing to you today?
That Nyheim Hines is now a Buffalo Bill. I love this move for the Bills. This is everything for them.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, Nyheim Hines is going to be a machine in that backfield.
Oh, shit. Did he really?
Yeah, he's a pass-catching back. Now they have a bruiser in Singletary. Now they can rely on a pass catching back such as Nyheim Hines. I know he's had his injury history as well, but they traded a 5th round pick and Zach Moss to get Nyheim Hines. They upgraded that part of their offense in terms of getting the running back involved along with their wide receivers. Hines has played great in Indianapolis over the years, and I expect him to pick it up in Buffalo. And I was surprised this trade even happened. I thought Buffalo was going to be interested in Kareem Hunt or another name, like Melvin Gordon or whatever. But this trade makes total sense for me. Like Nyheim Hines there is perfect for him. That entire scheme. Now, not only do you have to worry about Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, Dawson Knox, McKenzie. Now you got to worry about Nyheim Hines in the backfield along with Josh Allen running the football and throwing the football. That's unreal. Okay, like if you think this team doesn't punt now, I don't know if they're ever going to punt. That's serious. They're loaded. Third down is where you make your money, and they will thrive at that because they have all the weapons at their disposal. And this was a home run for them. I love this move for the Buffalo Bills. They are completely loaded. They have no weaknesses on that team. Yeah, they're unreal.
You know what, Nick? The weirdest part about it is, given the fact that they have James Cook and he's been used more and looks amazing every time they give him the ball. I mean, he had like 75 yards on 5 touches. So to me, I actually think they might use Nyheim Hines a little bit in the slot and 2 running back backfields too. I actually think that really they just added him to be another weapon. I don't even think that it's going to come at the expense of James Cook, which is what one would think instantly. I think that they're going to use all these guys, and they love rotating running backs. So it is actually like, it's crazy when you can see all the possibilities that they have here and how they use him. And I mean, Singletary has been good this year, so they're stacked at the position. They may not have like a bruiser, but they got depth. So I like that you said that.
Singletary will be their bruiser. He'll be the guy in the first and second down, getting them tough yards, getting them to like 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 4s, where you can swing it out to the running back. He can get you 5 yards, move the chains. That's devastating for our defense. Just giving up those kind of plays, and then the fact that the Bills have the firepower just to go deep on you anytime in the game with Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis on the outside, along with Josh Allen's arm, it's unreal. This team is loaded, and I'm excited to see what Nyheim Hines is going to bring to the Buffalo Bills.
All right. I think that we're pretty good on the trade deadline, guys. You guys ready to move on?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that was wild. It was fun. Like it felt like free agency all over again. You know what I mean? Like it was just great. A lot of fun.
I mean, hey, like I said, the NFL, everyone knows it always gets talked up like it's going to be crazy every trade deadline, but you usually see only 1 to 2 moves. You used to not see any. This is actually like a spike right here. This is like we are maybe seeing the dynamic of the NFL shift going forward. It almost felt like I was playing a Madden franchise today, and I saw like 20 trades at the deadline, and that never, ever happens. That's just uncharacteristic. So maybe we're seeing a shift in philosophy here from general managers, and they think that they can get players up to speed in a week or two. But we enjoy it as fans. We enjoy it. So, guys, surprises. We have to get on surprises because there's been a lot of them. 2 years in a row, the NFL has been absolute chaos almost. So we've kind of touched on this a little bit. But who, in your opinion, is the biggest surprise team this year?
For me, I'm going in the negative route, and it's the Rams. They're a bad football team, and I'm telling you right now, they're not going to make the playoffs because I don't see how they get another 7 wins out of their schedule. Their remaining schedule is tough. Like they have the Buccaneers this week coming off extended rest. Both teams desperate for a win.
I mean, the Bucs suck too.
I know, but who do you trust more with? Do you trust more Tom Brady on a bad team, or do you trust Matt Stafford?
I might trust Sean McVay over Todd Bowles.
Fair point, but Sean McVay looks like ass too right now. They can't score. The offensive genius's offense is trash. So that's where I'm at with the Rams. I don't think they make the playoffs this year.
Good choice. Theories. Biggest surprise on the team level this year.
You know, there's a lot of teams for me. I think the NFL has been kind of crazy this year in general. Just you never know what's going to happen. It's a week-to-week league. I will say my biggest surprise would have to be, and this sounds crazy, but it has to be the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons are the biggest surprise to me. They are 4-4. They are atop of the NFC South. And if you go back to the game a couple weeks ago when they played the Bucs, they could have won that game if that call didn't go the Bucs' way. So they could really bury this division right now. So right now, I'm going to say the Falcons. They
got a nice gift win this week.
Look, man, to be 4-4, did anybody expect that? No, I didn't.
No.
And look, I'm only saying the Falcons because I believe in that, but I know a lot of people are going to say the Seahawks. So I want to be kind of different and give a different perspective here. I mean, look, the Falcons, they signed Mariota to a 1-year deal, a prove-it deal, come here, run the offense, kind of just stink up the joint for a year. We're going to get a draft pick. The quarterback class is loaded next year. We just drafted Kyle Pitts, who's a first-round pick last year. And, you know, they're looking to load up on offense. But now they just traded Calvin Ridley, who got suspended, and they got a pretty decent return for him. And now they got Drake London, who they drafted, who's a pretty solid player.
Really him.
He's a solid player. But their system it works for Mariota. Whatever it is, it just works. And their defense is they could be had. I mean, especially in the passing game, their pass defense is horrendous. But if they cleaned that up, this team would be very, very tough to beat. But yeah, I mean, you know, and they're winning without Cordell Patterson, who's their best running back. That's crazy to me. So the fact that they are winning football games with this kind of roster just tells me the coaching they nailed that coaching.
Arthur Smith is the man.
Arthur Smith is
good.
the man for that job. And I just like the Falcons. I think they're one of those sleeper teams nobody's talking about, and they can just creep up on you, and they could just beat you in the fourth quarter in the last 2 minutes because Mariota could scramble, he can make plays on his feet, and he can make things happen. And anything that can happen will happen. So that's always been my thing. And they're playing good football. There's nothing more to be said.
I like the choice, and I have to go with the obvious low-hanging fruit here. Besides the Falcons, my answer would have been the Panthers, if not for Pinheiro missing 2 gimme kicks. And look, I mean, I get it. He got backed up on the first one because of the DJ Moore penalty, but come on, man! Like
Actually, wasn't a penalty.
Guys, I could kick that with my left foot. Honest to God, I'll go out to the field with you today. I'll go out there right now in the dark, and I'll kick that with my left foot. I guarantee you it's going in. To me, unbelievable that the Panthers didn't
Mike
make
Akers. Mike Akers is in the building.
Yo,
Mike Vanderjack.
Mikey Akers. Yeah.
Mike
got
Vanderjack.
a leg. I mean, but that's the thing, though, is like an NFL kicker missed at least one gimme kick that would have actually put the Panthers in first place despite starting 0-5. That would have been my pick. So I have to go with the Seahawks.
I want to say,
go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
Can DJ Walker actually start the rest of the season and get a legitimate shot?
Oh, he is.
Because in spot duty, he plays great.
He is, bro. Yo.
He's a gamer. He plays
That's
well
my guy.
Give him a chance.
Yo.
I'm serious. That throw he made to DJ Moore
proud, bro.
was on the money.
Temple proud.
So give PJ Walker a chance.
Give him a chance. Exactly right. The NFL is leaning towards those kind of style of quarterbacks.
Yes.
Plays with their feet, rocket arm, throw the ball downfield. If it's not there, take off and run, get the yards, move the chains, and then try again. The NFL is shifting towards that. You know what I mean? So he's playing outstanding football. I mean, it didn't correlate to a win, but it just speaks to the competitiveness that he's bringing to Carolina. They beat the Bucs, and then they almost beat the Falcons. who I just said was one of my biggest surprises.
Yeah, and they're very much still alive. They're only a game out of first, so we can't even say that they're dead because of the loss. Like they're right in this thing. And PJ's my guy, man. That man, we brought him in when I was working with Temple football under Matt Rule, Nick. This is back when you and I were we were coming off the Eagles stuff. We were partying at the frat. And we're at Temple, and that's when they brought in PJ Walker, who literally turned around the entire Temple football program. It seems to be forgotten. And every stop that he's been, I mean, the XFL, he dominated every chance he's had spot duty. He's been solid, and he's got the skill set to do it. That throw that Mike is referencing to DJ Moore was the best throw in the entire season so far.
Absolutely.
So, but I have to say Seahawks, though, for the most surprising, only because I actually think they have a really good chance of making the playoffs. And it's prior to this win that they had this week, beating the Giants. I'm starting to believe, guys, and you'll find out shortly if they're going to make it in my final seedings. But this Seahawk team, now that they've improved the defense the last 3 weeks, makes them for real. Like the defensive turnaround by Pete Carroll's unit in the last 3 weeks has been unheard of. And the secondary is playing at a high level. Tariq Woolen could literally win Defensive Rookie of the Year. I'm just blown away. I'm blown away by this team, and they're very balanced. And DK Metcalf is not going to be out for an extended time. And he actually played this week, which was stunning. They have everything. So I'm kind of buying them. I said it last week, and then they won, and I'm kind of really liking what I see there. I'm not going to lie to you. It's an absolute like it turned the NFL world upside down. The Seahawks
Sure did.
We kind of talked about some players, but do you guys want to touch on some other surprise players besides Geno Smith? That's like the obvious one.
Yeah, that's who I had on
backup turned MVP candidate.
I was between him and Tua, to be honest, because if Tua makes the playoffs and the Chargers miss the playoffs, we're going to have start having a different conversation about Tua and Herbert and who should have been selected first in that 2020 draft.
I'm going to throw in Derek Carr as one of my surprises.
Good pick.
Been terrible. You got Devontae Adams. You got Devontae Adams.
Not him.
And nothing happened. They didn't get better. Nothing happened. They got worse.
You know what happened?
What, the coach?
It's Josh McDaniels, bro.
I mean, maybe.
He's bad, bro.
It could be the case.
Well, actually, no. Let me go a step further. The owner.
It could be the case.
Because you let Rich Bisaccia walk out the door when you had a tumultuous season, and you let the guy who had the group glued together walk out the door. And that was mistake number one, because you shouldn't have let him go. Any coach in the interim that can overcome that has something. That whole team was glowing. Now they're flat. You just got shut out by the Saints. I mean, that's embarrassing. Devontae Adams had one catch for 3 yards.
The Saints are them, bro.
Stop. Well, I'm just saying.
They're alive still. They're alive.
One catch for 3 yards?
They're alive, bro.
They are, because the division sucks. But
they look better too, though.
Well, Andy Dalton's playing really good too. I guess you could throw him in there as a surprise. I don't know what's up with these quarterbacks playing good, but
it won't last.
No, you know what? The thing that's holding the Saints back again is their defense. That's it. I mean,
what?
Yeah, it's the shutout, bro.
I know. So that's one game. So can they do it? Can they do similar? Can they perform similarly next week? Because up until this point,
you know who
the defense has been ass, and that is actually one of the biggest surprises of the year so far. Prior to this week, though,
if the Saints had a fucking quarterback, they would literally be second Super Bowl favorites right now
in
the NFC. In the NFC, I mean, maybe the Vikings you could throw in there, but this team is loaded. They're just missing a quarterback, and it ain't happening this year. Trade deadline passed. It is what it is. Who they got moving forward is who they got. But But yeah, going back to my surprise, Derek Carr. Who else? I mean, there's a lot of names I could throw around in there. I'll say Allen Robinson with the Rams is a surprise too. He's, he got paid $40 million for 3 years, and he's been nothing for them. I mean, I know they're trying to get him involved a little bit more, get him comfortable in the system, but when you pay a guy $40 million and he's supposed to make an impact on your team, you expect him to make an impact right away, not in week 8 or trying to in week 9. I just think it's a mishap for them, and it was a bad contract, and I'm surprised by the level of play from Allen Robinson with the Rams, especially when he's not getting all the attention like Cooper Kupp is. So he should be feasting in the offense. So yeah. So I'll throw a name in Allen Robinson as well.
All right, let's get moving along, guys. Philly Phil, how about a change up? All right, NFL Power Rankings, top 5 teams. That's where we're going here. And actually, it was pretty difficult for me. I'm not going to lie to you. So that's what we're doing here. We're going to pick the top 5 teams in the league. And I want you guys to start from 5, count down to 1, and then we'll talk about it a little bit before we do the same thing with the MVP rankings. All right?
Yep.
Sound good?
Yeah. All right. So number 5. Number 5, we got the NFC North champions, Vikings. At number 4, this is going to be the 49ers. At number 3, the Chiefs. At number 2, the Bills. And number 1, the Eagles.
All right.
All right. I'm going to go number 5 is the 49ers. 4 is the Miami Dolphins. 3, the Kansas City Chiefs. 2, the Buffalo Bills. And number 1, the Philadelphia Eagles.
I like that.
They're undefeated. The bottom line is they're undefeated. You play who's on the schedule. You don't control the schedule. You play who's on it.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. They haven't beat a big opponent, but they beat Dallas. They handle them pretty well.
They don't beat themselves.
Oh yeah. We had Cooper Rush, but you weren't saying that when you guys were 4-0 with them. So my thing is, you play who's on the schedule. Eagles are undefeated. The bottom line is they're the number 1 team, and yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Can't go wrong.
Most people know. So
Agreed.
They haven't lost a game yet with Tua. But number 5, I got the 49ers. All right, just like Nick. Number 4, I have the Ravens. Number 3, I have the Chiefs. Number 2, I have the Bills. And number 1, the Philadelphia motherfucking Eagles. And I mean, really, just to echo off of what Nick said, how could you not pick them as number 1? It's the way they're winning games too.
Correct.
It's the way they do it, and it's just the fact that they're so loaded. And the only thing that was unproven going into the year was their quarterback, and their quarterback is playing at an MVP level. So all else said, we already knew the roster was phenomenal. I said that they were a top 5 roster, excluding QB, going into the year. And they added to it with Robert Quinn. So are there any other, what else is there to say about the Eagles? They're just phenomenal.
They're them.
They're a good football team.
They got a real path here, guys. They got a real path.
Absolutely.
I want to ask, obviously I know Mike was going to give flowers to the Vikings. But I want to ask what everyone feels about the Vikings being a possible top 5 team.
I mean, I like them. I think the only thing hurting them is that they got demolished by the Eagles on Monday night. But again, the Eagles are a really good team. No other team has done that to the Vikings. So I don't understand it. And their defense isn't great, but I don't think it's as bad as it's made out to be. I would say it's in the bottom half of the league, maybe around, somewhere around 20. But I don't think that that's going to hold them back that bad if their offense can keep scoring points.
Nick, are you in on the Vikings?
As a team, their record says they're good, right? But how I like view a team is a team in January and team in December. Does Kirk Cousins strolling into my stadium scare me? No. Does he scare you?
On this year, yeah.
Kirk Cousins?
I would
No,
worry
he
about
doesn't
him.
scare you.
Dude, that's this year. I
He
just
does
said
not
this
scare
year.
you. He stinks. He stinks when the lights are bright. He stinks. He's terrible on primetime games.
Primetime games,
There's
yeah.
a
But
reason
correct me if I'm wrong. Did Drew Brees lose to him in his last playoff game? The last time they played, Kirk Cousins beat him, so he can play when it
Drew
matters.
Brees was like 40, bro.
What's that mean?
That's my justification. He was 40 years. He was like
He was still in. He was good enough to get into the playoffs, wasn't he?
Drew Brees last year. Yeah,
It was good enough to get into the playoffs.
he was good enough to get to the playoffs.
Thank you.
Okay, that's fine. But Kirk Cousins does not scare me. If Kirk Cousins is on the road in a divisional game and he's coming to my stadium, I am not worried. I'm not. You saw what the Eagles did to him in 2017. They fucking killed him.
I get it, but it's different. It's different times.
Bro, Kirk Cousins is not good.
I'm not a Kirk Cousins guy.
He does not scare me. I don't care because he can't run with his feet. That's major. That's how you scare teams. When defenses are up all night because they got to prepare for the quarterback to run and to pass. If he can only be a pocket passer, all the defense has got to worry about is go get pressure after him. You get pressure him and you collapse the pocket, he's going to have a long day in hell.
Not anymore with TJ Hawkins.
And then you got the crowd involved in it. He struggles under the spotlight. I do not trust this team in the playoffs. I just don't. That's why they're not a top 5 team for me right now.
Yeah, and I'll say this about the Vikings. One thing that does indicate they're a good team beside the record, their turnover margin has improved dramatically this year. And that's the key to the game right there. Like, you're not turning the football over. The offense has improved. It's been getting better each week. I think Kirk Cousins has been steady. I don't think Kirk Cousins is actually playing at a higher level than he was last year. But he's been steady, and they rediscovered the run game. And, you know, TJ Hawkins, obviously, they must have some sort of plan. I just think I don't want to call them a total pretender because I think that they're a playoff team. I already had them as a playoff team this year. I think it's a clear-cut thing with them in the NFC North at this point. So not worry about that either. But they've only beaten one team with a winning record the entire year. And that team was the Dolphins, and that team had Skylar Thompson at quarterback that game. And their backs were against the wall in that game versus Skylar Thompson. So, again, it's more of like a, hey, if I see them do their thing against a team that is a legitimate threat, I will be willing to bump them up too. I think right now the 49ers roster is better. I do think the Vikings are better at quarterback.
Oh, no, hell no. We disagree there, but that's why I had the 49ers fourth. I had them ahead.
Jimmy Garoppolo is better than Kirk Cousins?
Every single day of the week on every single level.
Why?
He's made a Super Bowl. He's been to 2 NFC Championship games. He makes the throws when they matter in the biggest moments.
Yeah, but what has he been doing this year, Mike?
I'm sorry, what happened?
What's he done this year?
Did he not just tear up the Rams?
I saw Christian McCaffrey do it, and with his arm too.
Well, I mean, you got me there. Christian McCaffrey was there, but
I mean, Christian McCaffrey was the difference maker in this game. Am I wrong?
Yeah, but I mean, he's a special talent. But here's the thing: if Jimmy Garoppolo goes to an NFC Championship game or a Super Bowl this year, all questions need to stop with this guy. All questions.
That's what prevents them from winning a Super Bowl. But they are good enough. I think now. Look, let me clarify my comments because, yeah, do I think Kirk Cousins is a better quarterback? Yeah. I don't think that Jimmy necessarily will kill them, but if he continues to play at the level he's been this year, he is going to harm them when it matters. The good news is they looked completely more functional with CMC, and I think actually that move might be a little bit slept on now. I think everybody was a little, everyone was wondering, all right, did they pay too much, this and that, but it's clear that at least this has increased the comfort level with Jimmy, and CMC's been a perfect fit in the offense. The offensive scheme is gold for him, and he's the perfect guy for it. So for me, it's more like, okay, the 49ers are where they are. They're the 5th-ranked team because, A, the NFL kind of low key sucks this year. I actually struggled. I struggled picking number 5 on my list. I don't think the 49ers are by any means a finished product. I don't think they've played their best ball yet. So to me, it's like, all right, I see a defensive formula that might be able to carry over, and I see an offense that's loaded at the skill positions with a quarterback who won't completely derail them in the playoffs. That's kind of the way I'm seeing it with that team. But I do think he needs to step up. Like he's out of excuses now. CMC like pretty much made him excuse proof at this point. Like he's been horrible this year, guys. Jimmy G's been very bad this year.
Mike, he didn't practice all off season and wasn't in minicamp. He was running laps by himself in the end zone. So yeah, he had some rust. He was only bad for 2 or 3 games.
It's week 8 now. It's week 8.
Yeah, but when did he come in? Week 3?
He had starter reps in week 2.
Was that week 2 when Trey Lance got hurt?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was week 3. I mean, it's only 1 week.
Week 3, going into week 3, he had first team reps in a scheme that he already knows. I mean, I maybe expected some rust there for a couple weeks, but it's week 8 now, and he's got to be better. He's got to be better, and he's loaded. He's got plenty of weapons around him.
Oh, well, so I'm going to correct myself. Remember earlier I was talking about the Vikings and they got smacked in the playoffs with the Eagles. Well, I'm sorry. It was Case Keenum at quarterback and not Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
To me, Case Keenum, Kirk Cousins, Case Keenum, that 1 year versus Kirk Cousins' career, it's kind of like that was like the same player, right, with Kirk Cousins. He had a great year. But like that's like Kirk Cousins' ceiling is Case Keenum that year. Not Case Keenum in general, but Case Keenum that year.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was the NFC Championship game, so
that's a ceiling.
Teams would take that.
Yeah, but if you have a loaded roster like Justin Jefferson or them boys,
yeah,
you got to get that guy to get you to the Super Bowl because that's the ultimate goal. You know what I mean? That's my only gripe with Kirk Cousins. We haven't seen enough of him in big moments and big games.
I agree with you.
Come up big.
Totally agree with you.
So that's why I just can't trust him. I cannot trust him in the big moments. And he's 1-3 in playoff games. And to go back to the Garoppolo point, I mean, I don't know where he's playing bad. He's got 11 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. The last couple of games, he's played pretty well. Against the Chiefs, he had 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. His rating was 99.3. And the last game with the Rams had an 84% completion percentage, 235 yards, 2 touchdowns, and his quarterback rating was 132.5. So he's been playing way better.
His feet got wet.
And now that you got
they stabilized him a little bit.
Right. But now that you got CMC, it helps you. It helps him out. It helps him. It takes a little bit of the load off his shoulders, knowing that he has a running back that he could depend on. Before, it was Deebo Samuel. It was Jeff Wilson. It was, what's his name? Elijah Mitchell. He's had a million different running backs. He didn't know who was coming in. And, now that you have CMC, a guy who could do it all, what's behind you, Pauls, you're able to operate the offense with confidence because you know what you have in the backfield.
And see, Nick, that right there, the way you just described it is exactly why I do have them as my number 5 team, because it does look to be improving. I'm just pointing out the simple fact that there's a reason why the 49ers moved on from Jimmy G. It's because he hasn't been able to take the offense to the next level. And I do wonder if he's going to hold them back. That's the only question mark for me in terms of their ceiling as a team. Jimmy G, can he be a better passer when it matters more? Like, he's not going to kill you, but is he going to actually go out and win you a game? I don't know that. I don't. I do know, though, they have an awesome defense, and I do know that CMC, if he stays healthy, they have it, man. They could make some noise. They'll be the only team, honestly, that could maybe even shake it up in the playoffs besides the Eagles. Really?
Yeah, and Trent Williams is back too. So that's a major. Yeah,
major.
I totally agree.
Major. All right, guys, Philly Phil, we're moving on. MVP rankings, guys. All right. Shorter segment here. I want to know if you had to rank the top 5 in the MVP race, go from 5 to 1 right now. Who you got?
Number 5, I got Tua. Number 4, I have Lamar. Number 3, I have Mahomes. Number 2, I have Josh Allen. And number 1, I have Jalen Hurts.
Number 5, I got Geno Smith. Number 4, I got Lamar Jackson. Number 3, I got Patrick Mahomes. Number 2, I have Josh Allen. And number 1, I have Jalen Hurts.
I mean, my rankings are the same as you, Nick, but I have Mahomes and Allen flip-flopped. That's it. The same exact rankings.
Okay, that's respectful. I mean,
just because he's got to do a little bit more this year, and he's lived up to it. But you could argue it either way.
Not mad about it. Nope.
So we all have Jalen Hurts as number 1. My question is simply this: do you think that he will be the MVP?
No shot.
Really?
No shot. Too much of a love fest with Josh Allen. It's too much. He didn't play good against the Packers. Not that he didn't. I mean, he didn't play he didn't play bad, but he didn't play really good.
Yeah, there's 2 bonehead picks.
And this is what I was talking about with
He
me.
admitted it though.
I know.
He
But
knows.
me and you, when we were talking about this off air, and I said Josh Allen reminds me of Donovan McNabb. He just does them dumb ass plays where you just look at him and you're like, dude, what are you thinking? But different subject for a different day.
Well, here's the reason why. Because he's always involved in those kind of plays. Because he scrambles out. He tries to extend the plays.
He's erratic.
Yeah, so he's going to make those occasional fuck ups. You know what I mean? Across the field, or it just happens. It comes with being a playmaker. That's how I see those kind of scenarios or situations.
There's a love fest. The Bills have been crowned. Josh Allen's been crowned. And he's winning MVP no matter what happens.
Well, what's interesting is that Jalen Hurts is plus 350 and Josh Allen is plus 120, but Jalen Hurts is undefeated and Josh Allen ain't.
My exact point.
It's interesting.
It's my exact point. There's
the thing is, though, I do get what you're saying, Mike, and also the odds favor Josh Allen right now, like the actual odds. Jalen Hurts, I'm not even sure will lose another game. Like their schedule lines up in a way where they could legitimately make a run at something historical. I don't see how they could go against him if they, for instance, go 16-1, 15-2. I don't know how they're going to be able to go against him unless he actually just starts to play poorly, because he also is padding his stats pretty well. Like he's putting up those MVP type of numbers, and his schedule is much less daunting. So I actually think right now, like I would probably say, yeah, Hurts is going to pull it off, because I don't think that the level of play is going to dip enough for it to be, I think the record's going to continue to be there and the stats are going to be there. And also, like I said, I think that what Mahomes has done with what everyone terms as lesser is more impressive than what Josh Allen's done with what he's supposed to be doing. That's what Josh Allen's supposed to do with this team. And Patrick Mahomes has been arguably better, if not equal, statistically. I mean, that's what I'm saying there. I know that Josh Allen won the head-to-head, but
that matters. And the MVP.
Well, it was a must-win for Buffalo in that game. So,
well, in the MVP, it's going to matter if candidate 1 and 2 are neck and neck for the MVP. People are going to choose Josh Allen because he beat Patrick Mahomes in the regular season. Not saying that is fair, but it is what it is, right? Like that's just the bottom line. Not to say that Mahomes is going to lose to him in the playoffs. It's just that he lost to him in the regular season. That's what we're going by. We're going by the regular season. It goes by stats. It goes by flash, because people love those flashy plays. And it goes by just, overall play. And now that you factor that into beating the other quarterback head to head, people are going to lean towards, okay, same stats, similar stats, playing same amount of, good football. The record is 14-3, 15-2, whatever it is. And he beat him head to head. They're always going to give it to the guy that won in the regular season. So I would say Josh Allen does have the leg up, but I'm going to go Jalen Hurts. I mean, the only thing that really hurts him is, no pun intended, is his schedule. But like I said, like you don't control who you play on the schedule. You show up. Whoever's on the schedule is who you play. It's not his fault. But if he was playing bad, then obviously you wouldn't pick him to be MVP. The fact that he's playing this level of football and destroying teams tells me all I need to know, because good teams and good players destroy bad teams. That's what they do. That's what they're supposed to do. That's what they get paid to do. And that's just that's their job. And he's doing his job to the highest of degree, being undefeated and playing great football on top of that. So yeah, he should be the MVP. Period.
All right, guys. Real quick, because we're about to go into our playoff predictions. I'll just ask you this right off the rip, okay? I want to know your bold predictions in the AFC. Just one each, okay? One bold prediction in the AFC, one in the NFC, and then one in fantasy football. Tell me right now, and this will be our lead-in to our actual playoff predictions and award predictions that we're revisiting what we did in the preseason and doing our midseason picks. So, bold predictions, fantasy, and reality. What we got?
For my AFC bold prediction, Cliff Kingsbury doesn't finish the season as the Cardinals head coach. For the NFC, the Eagles make the Super Bowl. And my bold prediction for fantasy is Joe Mixon finishes outside the top 15 in running backs.
Mike, you gave us 2 NFCs there.
Oh, my God, I did. I'm on sale. My bad on that. I don't have an
Do you
AFC
have any?
one off the bat, excuse me.
It's okay. Do you have any AFC ones off the top of your head? It's okay if
not. Nathaniel Hackett doesn't make Thanksgiving.
I would love that. You already know how I feel.
Yeah. Leave him in ShopRite.
Yeah. Theories, bold predictions.
I think the Ravens I think the Ravens are going to be a playoff team, but I think they're going to have trouble signing Lamar Jackson. I could see a big controversy in the offseason because they're going to lose the first round, and then they're going to be sitting, okay, do we pay this guy? Is he worth all the money? I think there's going to be a battle there with the Ravens with Lamar. Seems to kind of starting, after he beat the Bucs, he signed a sign saying pay the man or whatever. So I think you're starting to see some leaves fall from that tree. And for the NFC, I'm gonna go the Giants don't win 9 games. I think the Giants I think they're gonna finish 9-7 or 9-8. I think the cliff is coming for them. Yeah, that's my prediction. I don't believe in them. Never did. Mirage. Told you guys, mirage.
I don't believe in them either, but that's like they'd have to lose another 6 games, and I don't know, man.
It's coming.
Wait,
it's
so
coming.
Are you suggesting that Lamar Jackson's not going to be a Raven next year? If you had to say yes or no,
yes.
Where are you leaning?
Wow. He's not going to be. You know where he's going?
Where?
Atlanta Falcons.
Wow.
He's a better player than Mariota, but their skill sets are similar in that regard. Like they had the same kind of style of play, not the skill set. The skill set is out of this world, Lamar and Mariota, but their style of play is almost similar. And Lamar could throw it better than Mariota. He could run it better than Mariota.
Mariota's a poor man's Lamar.
Correct. Now they have Drake.
You know
London.
how I feel about him.
I think Lamar Jackson is going to go to the Atlanta Falcons. They have been waiting for another quarterback. They have to replace Matt Ryan. I could see them getting anxious and going after a guy like that. Yeah, it sounds crazy. I think he's a Falcon next year.
Wow.
I'm giving the Falcons a lot of love in this podcast.
I can tell.
You know what I mean? I don't even know why.
That would be something. That's theories to a T right there. AFC. I mean,
oh wait, I'm sorry. I got to give a fantasy one.
Yeah, you got one off the rip.
I mean, is this really bold? I think Travis Etienne is going to finish in the top 5 in running backs by the end of the year.
That's bold.
You think it's bold?
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't to go from where he was to top 5. I mean, that's a big jump.
Yeah. Put me there. I got that.
I like it.
I like it. Top 5. The usage is out of this world. James Robinson in the air. And JaMychal Hasty is not going to take up Etienne's runs when he's getting 50 yards.
He gives him a breather.
Run. Yeah, like every game that Etienne's played, he's had like a 40-yard run. He's so fast. He's explosive. They're going to feed him the football. I love it. I this is great. I think he's going to finish top 5. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. For me, NFC bold prediction. It's a 2-parter. The Rams are missing the playoffs. Period.
Look at us agreeing. Oh my God.
I'm not even. Listen, they're gone. They're gone. Like the Packers. The Packers. Well, you'll see what I'm about to say next, but they're right there too. Okay, but the Seahawks are getting into the playoffs. They are getting into the playoffs, guys. The Seattle Seahawks will be a playoff team. They'll be. Oh, I'll tell you in a minute. I don't know. We'll talk about division in a minute. All right. Fantasy football, I think I got to go with my guy Nick Chubb remaining RB1 because I think all the talk is when Deshaun Watson comes back in a few weeks, Nick Chubb's not going to be RB1 overall, naturally, and Kareem Hunt's still there. So, surprisingly wasn't traded. So I think that's everyone's instant pivot is, all right, Nick Chubb's not going to be the same in fantasy for the rest of the season, and I disagree. I think he's going to finish as number 1 overall. That's my guy. I have to go with him. AFC was kind of tough. AFC was tough, guys. I don't want to say this is bold. Maybe it would have been more bold if I actually went with my gut in the offseason. It's the Chiefs being in the Super Bowl. And I feel after they got Kadarius Toney and they're going to get some health back on the defense, I think the Chiefs are going to return to the Super Bowl. And they are going to beat the Buffalo Bills on the way there again. And that, I mean, to most, I think that part sounds bold. I think everyone assumes that Buffalo is going to be there at this point. And I think the Chiefs are going to get him again, and they're going to return.
Love
Is that bold enough?
I had another bold one, but I didn't. I bit my tongue on it.
Go ahead.
Something about that Titan team over there, man. There's something about being really well coached. There's something about being a hard-nosed football team. There's something about being a hard-nosed football team in December and January. There's something about good coaching in December and January. There's just something about it that I internally have a weird feeling about that. But like it just seems like everybody's picking the Bills, the Chiefs, but the Eagles. Like, I'm curious to see who that team is going to be. Who's that team that's going to creep up in January, take somebody out? Everybody's like, holy shit, is this team for real? Can this team beat the Bills in the championship game? Like, there's always a storyline behind something. So I'm curious. I think the Tennessee Titans have the ingredients to be that team. And they're just so stupid for trading A.J. Brown. If they had A.J. Brown, I wouldn't even hesitate to say that would be my bold prediction. Because they have the weapon outside along with Derrick Henry. So I just, this team is frustrating to watch as a fan because, you're looking at the team, they're coached well, they play hard. They're just missing the weapons on the outside to make that offense go along with Derrick Henry. If you put Derrick Henry on an offense with loaded wide receivers, it's like unfair. Like, who do you guard? You're going to put 8 men in the box? Okay, we're going to pass on you. Okay, then if you back up, we have Derrick Henry to just run it down your throat all day long, and he could do that. He can get 200 yards and 2 touchdowns in the game. Regarding Henry, he's a beast, bro. Like,
regarding him,
he's the guy that you want in the playoffs because it's cold as fuck. You don't want to tackle him. Like, that is the team that I am intrigued still by, even as I was last year. I still think there's something about this team that is still left to be unsaid.
I'm going to throw out a caution flag, too, by the way. The Bengals are not safe by any means. The Bengals.
I agree with you, man.
And we'll get there in a second, but they were my 7 seed, and you guys thought I was fucking nuts. And right
still
now,
do.
I mean, maybe I am. I don't know, but they're not safe. Let's just put it that way. That was something I almost entertained right here. I'm not going to react off of one game, though, but body of work this season, they've been What a
Been
roller
trash.
coaster.
Call
Yeah,
it.
they've been
They're
a
bad
roller coaster.
because their offensive line can't block. I don't give a fuck who you got on the outside. I don't care. If you can't block the defensive line, you have no chance. You don't have chance. You don't have a fucking chance. He doesn't have any time to get the wide receivers to allow the play to develop. He doesn't have the time. He's getting hit in milliseconds. You're never going to be successful if your quarterback cannot stay upright. I don't care if you have Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson on the outside. You can't operate an offense when you don't have time to throw the football. That is their biggest issue, and it ain't going away. People thought they addressed that in the offseason. I myself included, but it just didn't work. There's still holes on the offensive line that tells me this team is possibly going to miss the playoffs. If you can't block a lick up front, the weapons on the outside don't matter. It doesn't matter. If you can't run block, Joe Mixon doesn't matter, even though he's playing pretty decent ball. But what I'm saying is your offense is predicated on wide receivers. You got T. Higgins, you got Tyler Boyd, you got Jamar Chase. You got 3 loaded wide receivers. Even though Jamar Chase is out, regardless, you still have T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd to score points. Those guys are capable of moving the fucking chains. So if you don't have the time, you don't have any chance to succeed. And that's exactly what's going on with the Bengals. And I don't see it happen anytime soon. So Mikey P, I salute you for saying that.
Yeah, and it's true. And also, Joe Burrow himself looked like doo-doo without Jamar Chase. I mean, there's a comfort level there. And obviously, he's already facing enough adversity. But, guys, Philly Phil, let's go one more time here because we got our playoff predictions. And it's about to get crazy, I bet. Rest of season predictions in the NFL. First, we're going right to playoff seedings. And, guys, in the interest of time, actually, I don't need you to tell me the final records of these teams, but I do want to know where every team in each conference is going to be seeded. The playoff teams, obviously. So 7 seed through 1. Who wants to start us off? And we're going AFC first.
I'll roll. Number 7, Mikey P, you were correct. The Bengals. Number 6, I have the Chargers. Number 5, I have the Dolphins. Number 4, I have the Titans. Number 3, I have the Ravens. Number 2, I have the Chiefs. And number 1, I have the Bills.
All right, theories.
At number 7, I have the Chargers. At number 6, I have the Bengals. Even though I just went on the rampage about them, I still believe in the talent. They just got to figure out the offensive line. They can figure that out. They're going to be a tough team because their defense has been playing pretty well, minus last night. I don't know what that was. They couldn't stop the Browns for nothing. But they're going to be in it. They had the talent. At number 5, I'm going to go the Miami Dolphins. This team is scary. At number 4, I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans. At number 3, I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to give them some love. I've been off them all year. At number 2, I'm going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. And number 1, I got the Buffalo Bills.
So it actually looks like we all have the same teams getting in. But I'll actually say ranking-wise for me, number 7, I have the Dolphins. Number 6, I have the Bengals. Chargers are number 5. Titans 4. Ravens 3. Chiefs 2. Bills 1. Guys, I have one thing I want to say about this since we're all pretty much aligned here. The Ravens have the easiest strength of schedule remaining. The teams that they face have a 347 win percentage. I would not be surprised if the Baltimore Ravens ran the table. I'm not even kidding. Their toughest game remaining is they play the Bengals, and they have the Falcons. Everything else after that, though, they got the Steelers twice. They got the Browns. They got the Broncos. They got the Panthers, Jags, Saints. All right, I almost made that my bold prediction. The Ravens could literally run the table. All right? Mm-hmm. And then also, the Chiefs, guys, the Chiefs We all talked about their schedule being impossible this year. They seem to have gotten through the worst of it. The Chiefs' remaining schedule is the 4th easiest. So the other bold thing I almost said that I didn't say is the Chiefs could literally overtake the Bills despite losing that tiebreaker.
It absolutely is.
And they only have they have the they have the Titans, the Seahawks, the Chargers, the Bengals, the Texans, the Jags, the Raiders, the Broncos twice, the Rams. It wouldn't surprise me if the Chiefs ran the table. I almost said this, but ebbs and flows, schedule, rest. Somewhere along the lines, I want to give credit to the rest of the NFL. Like the Ravens and Chiefs should lose another game or two, but I could see them both running the table because of the schedule. Crazy. Any other takeaways for you guys of the AFC?
No.
We're pretty much aligned.
No, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. The Browns kind of are interesting.
Oh, I was this close, Nick. I was this close.
I think they know the recipe is just running the football, killing the clock. I think I believe the time difference between the Browns and the Bengals was 36 minutes to 23 minutes. It was an absolute bloodbath. If you can control the clock, you can run the football, and you give your defense some rest, good things can happen. And those are kind of games that they know that they have to do. They have to run the football to win those games. And then you get Deshaun Watson back. If they could be 5-5 with Deshaun Watson back, if he could be 75% of
it's going to be a drop off from Jacoby to him when he gets back.
Maybe, but if he can get a couple wins, if they can get a couple wins.
Absolutely, Mike. He hasn't played in 2 years.
Listen.
He looked like shit in that preseason game for a reason.
If they can get a couple wins and shake off the rest, this team could really take off. They could. Even if they were at 6-6, even if Deshaun Watson came in and he was 1-1. He lost the first game and then he got his feet wet and then now he could take off. Right? I mean, this is the team that could be in the mix, I'll say.
I mean, they were dead at 2-5 last week and they beat the Bengals that nobody thinks is that good, and all of a sudden they're a playoff team.
I'm just saying, if you can run the football. No, what I'm saying is they have the recipe to win. If they can replicate this until Deshaun Watson gets back, get to 500, then they have a chance. You paid the guy $230 million. You got to think highly of him. So if he's the guy of your franchise, then yeah, at 5-5, and if I'm Cleveland's owner and I'm 5-5, and my $230 million quarterback is coming back, absolutely, I'm ecstatic about that. That's the best scenario for them.
Nick, see this right here? I was this close to putting them in the playoffs, but the problem is it's as simple as this. They lost 2 games they should have won. If they won those games, I'm right there with you because I've been on the Browns for the longest time. They needed to win 2 more games. Even 1 would have made it possible, but the thing is the Dolphins going out there and getting Bradley Chubb sealed the deal for me because they were my on-the-fence team. I do think they're going to have some challenges that they haven't seen yet, but they are way too loaded with talent, and their quarterback is also not derailing them, similar to how I feel about the 49ers. Mm-hmm. It's the same scheme, ironically. So it's just like it was this close for me. The Browns have the formula, they have the roster, but the defense has not been playing as well as it should either.
So when Deshaun Watson comes back, do they run the table? Do they win out?
No, I didn't.
No, but Mike,
the best scenario for them is to be 500 with their $230 million quarterback. That's intriguing to me.
So he comes back week 12, right?
Yes.
13, but also
he
faces Houston, which is a great opportunity to knock the rust off. That is why
I'm not so sure about that because they're in Houston. You don't think Houston's is going to want to get after him? I'm not so sure about that.
It's not a guarantee by any means. And that's quite simply why none of us have them there. There's too many question marks, and they did not do enough to hold down the fort per se. But guys,
5-5, look out.
Yeah, we'll see. NFC, who wants to start us off?
I'll roll this one too. Number 7, I have the Seahawks and Geno Smith.
Oh,
Number 6, I have Danny Dimes and the Giants. Number 5, I have the Cowboys. Number 4, I have Tampa. Number 3, I have the 49ers. Number 2, I have the Vikings. And number 1, I have the Eagles.
all right, pals. Theories. Let's hear it.
This was tough for me. I'm actually.
I struggled with 7.
That's
Whoa.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm right with you. Look, it's hard to picture the playoffs without the Rams. They're the Super Bowl champs, right? And it's hard for me to imagine that the next 8 weeks is going to be the same story. I can't imagine they're not going to be a little bit better. I can't imagine with all that talent, it's going to go to waste for a bad season to miss the playoffs. It would be a tragedy for them. So for that reason, I'm going to put them at 7. I got the Falcons at 6. I got the Cowboys at 5. I got the Bucks at 4. The Niners at 3. The Vikings at 2, and the Eagles at 1. I struggled with the 6 and 7 seeds in my assessment because I believe the Falcons can be a 9-8 team, hold a tiebreaker over somebody and get in, or and I feel the same way about the Rams. I feel like the Rams, they had the talent. I just don't see them missing the playoffs. I mean, it doesn't look good now, but I always bet on talent, and that's where I'm at with them. So I think 7 is fair, and how I constructed it too, because I did a little bit of my research. Tom Brady is what 11-0 against the Cowboys or something. Yeah. Lifetime. I have them playing each other in week 1 in the wild card round.
Really?
I think that spells trouble for Tampa too. So, that's just kind of how I design my bracket based on scenarios that I come up with in my head.
I'll tell you what. I was torn about this. I'm going to go Giants 7. Okay. I'm going to go with the Giants at 7. 7 was the toughest one for me. Okay. Seahawks 6, Cowboys 5, Bucks 4 with 0 confidence. 49ers 3, Vikings 2, Eagles 1. I actually would love nothing more than to see at this point. I like the underdogs and I like good stories. With the way the Bucks and Packers have played and how they've burned me, I would love to see both of them miss it, and I would love to see the Rams miss it. The Bucks, quite simply, it's just talent on the roster for me. I think that the talent is by far still the best in the division, but I would not be surprised if they don't make the playoffs. And I don't see any chance of the NFC South producing 2 teams. The Giants, for me, it's as simple as this, guys. The Packers and the Cardinals, for example, at best are 9-8 this year. And 9-8 is probably not going to cut it, because are the Giants seriously going to lose 6 more games?
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, they are.
I think that I do not buy the Giants at all, but they bought themselves a huge cushion here. And it's going to be almost insurmountable, even though their schedule is not easy the rest of the way. They have the 3rd hardest schedule. Somewhere in those mix of games, I just struggle to find them losing 6 more games. That's a lot of games. And I don't think, like, I could see them losing 5, but that's not going to be enough. And they have the tiebreaker on the Packers. And the Cardinals right now, the head coach, I agree, Mike. I mean, I hope he's fired. The head coach is the biggest problem right there right now. And that is going to stop them in a situation where the Giants have the coach. They are stable right now. I do not buy them. I think they'll have the floors mopped with them in the first round. That was my justification, though. And the Bucks also, the thing with the Bucks, they have the 5th easiest schedule remaining. So it's a mixture of, okay, talent, schedule. That was the thing here. When you go through the schedule, these are the scenarios that you see. All right? So now, guys,
think any game is easy for the Bucks. They can't move the fucking football.
I would love to see all of the veterans out of the playoffs. I want to see some fucked up wild shit. I would love to see the Panthers get in at this point. The Falcons,
I-
Nick, the Falcons, I would love to see get in the playoffs.
That'd be great.
Just saying. I hope that someone different wins the NFC South right now. I
Yeah.
hope
So,
so.
just like future prediction, like I had the Rams at 7, I had the Eagles at 1, the Vikings at 2. I think the Vikings are going to play the Rams. I think the Rams are going to beat the Vikings. I think Kirk Cousins is going to be out of there. And then the divisional round, the Rams come to Philly. Eagles beat them convincingly. And you know what's going to happen is, to be the man, you got to beat the man. The Rams were the man last year. The Eagles, and they're going to hear all that talk. Oh, their schedule was soft, blah, blah, blah. They're going to discredit the Eagles. The Eagles are going to dismantle the Rams. And the Eagles are going to go to the Super Bowl. That's what's going to happen. It's
Wow.
perfect.
So here,
Like,
Nick.
bro.
So I
I'm
want
like
you to
painting fucking pictures for you guys.
I
This
want
is
you
what-
to repeat this one more time, because now for the audience, we're picking who's getting to the AFC and NFC Championship Game. So Nick, you just said NFC. So tell us one more time who you have in the NFC Championship Game.
I got the
Don't-
Eagles and I got the Niners.
Okay. Niners at Eagles. Pauls.
Yeah.
NFC Championship.
Eagles, Niners.
I am the same with you guys. I have 49ers
Really?
at the Eagles. All
It's
right.
lit.
All right. AFC. AFC Championship Game. Who's getting there?
Chiefs and Bills.
Me too, Pauls. Theories.
It just seems so fucking easy. Just plug those two teams in, call it a day.
They're the class of the AFC, bro.
I get it, but there's always a surprise somewhere along the lines. I'm gonna go Bills Dolphins.
Bryce Harper, 2-run homer.
That's why we got to speed the fuck
It's
up.
lit, baby.
Come on.
It's lit. Yeah, let's speed it up.
Fuck.
I got
Dolphins.
I got Bills and Dolphins.
At Bills. I think it will be the Ravens if not. I just said it. Yeah, my wife's saying Harper home run, and she's freaking. All right. Super Bowl matchup. Who's getting to the game?
Bills are playing while we're potting. We're not.
Chiefs
we're not
over
potting while we're
Eagles.
playing.
Is that it?
Chiefs over Eagles.
Okay.
Got it. Aries.
I got the Eagles over the Bills. I'm trying to convince myself to make it like a reality, because the Bills are just like ridiculous. But I got the Eagles over the Bills.
Super Bowl
Pencil it in.
MVPs, guys. And I'll tell you my champion in a sec. Pauls, who's your MVP? Mahomes?
Mahomes.
Theories?
I'm gonna say Josh Allen, and the only reason why is because
The
I have
loser?
him losing. I'm sorry.
As the loser of the game?
No, I got Josh Allen. Oh, you're talking about the MVP.
Yeah, MVP of the game. Super Bowl MVP.
Okay. Yeah, no, I got I got Jalen Hurts Super Bowl MVP because Josh Allen is going to be the NFL MVP this year. And yeah, that's how I feel about it. Actually, I lied. I think Jalen Hurts is going to be the MVP, and he's going to be the Super Bowl MVP. He's going to be the first quarterback to do so since Kurt Warner.
There you go.
Like
I have the Eagles over the Chiefs. And really, for me,
Damn, Andy losing to his old team.
I have Andy beat
That's
his
cool.
whole team.
my thing is if the Eagles get there, they're winning it because the Eagles have the roster to beat the AFC, and they can run the football down your throat in the playoff game. And that's the thing. They have the recipe to beat these AFC stalwarts. All right. Last but not least, guys, this is just we're running through them for the sake of recording it. All right. NFL MVP. Nick, you just said Hurts. I also say Jalen Hurts first since Kurt Warner. I agree with you. Theory,
Me too.
Pauls, MVP.
Hurts.
Hurts. Offensive Player of the Year.
Josh Allen.
Tyreek Hill.
I got Hurts cleaning up. All right. Defensive Player of the Year. Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons.
All right. Offensive Rookie of the Year. I got Kenneth Walker.
Kenneth Walker.
I have Brees Hall, but I'm going to go Kenneth Walker as well.
It would have been Hall. I agree. Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Sauce Gardner.
Sauce Gardner. That's easy. Runaway.
Agreed.
He might be the best
Agreed.
cornerback in the league right now.
Agreed. And I think Tariq Woolen's going to be the runner-up, guys. All right. Comeback player of the year. I got Saquon.
No, for comeback player of the year, I have Derrick Henry.
Regarding Henry.
You too, Nick?
I got Christian McCaffrey.
CMC. All good choices. Fantasy MVP. I got Nick Chubb taken in the 3rd round. What?
I have Austin Eckler. I think he's on the path.
Yeah. Austin Eckler, bro.
It's a
Yeah. A running back getting 16 targets is fucking crazy.
That's so
I
me.
don't care, dude. Like, that's insane.
It's cool
Yeah,
when
but
they do
guys,
it.
He's expected to do that. He's a 1st-round pick. Nick Chubb was taken in the 3rd round. Value.
No,
He's going to be
that's fair.
RB1.
That's fair, but people wrote off Austin Eckler as well.
Wow.
They have.
Well, they did figure it out, and obviously they need to get him the ball more. All right, coach of the year. I got Sirianni. No brainer.
Brian Dable.
Oh,
Fair choice.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I'm in it.
I'm gonna go Mike McDaniel.
Oh.
Yeah.
Runner up for me, guys. Pete Carroll. GM of the year. Howie Roseman. I don't even think it's close either.
Yeah, it has to be Howie.
Yeah.
Because just simply off of AJ alone.
Yeah, Howie Roseman. I agree.
Howie Roseman. All right, that's going to do it, everybody. We got to get to the Phillies game.
We out.
Episode 118 of P&I was brought to you by Playmaker and Prize Picks. Daily fantasy made easy. Also, we were live at the Props Network at propshq.com. Be sure to go over there and subscribe to P&I and keep up with football. Fantastic fabric. P&I merch courtesy of IBP Pressworks. Look at Theories and Pauls. They're wearing the gear today. All right. Don't forget to DM us for pricing and details. And one last time, our show on Thursday is also at 7 o'clock. We're doing our Week 9 picks. We're going to just go right off the bat with the picks. We have the Phillies again on Thursday. All right? Maybe even a clinching game. We'll see. And that, my friends, go Phillies. Fly, Eagles, fly. We're going to kill Houston as a city this week. Eagles Thursday Night Football in Houston. All right? Series, do your thing.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We appreciate all the love, support, and the comments. If you guys haven't done so already, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on YouTube. We are also available on propshq.com, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeart, Megaphone, Stitcher,
and all that other crud.
Also, follow us on all of our socials as you don't want to miss our daily content on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And we will see you guys this Thursday at P&I, baby. Go Phils.